All right, now let me introduce your next performer, Samm Cohen, who is a multimedia artist and has been for the past 40 years. She has done 30 visual art showcases, has played percussions in a punk band, created some interesting art videos on her own, and in collaboration with others has photographed, sculpted, and painted, with always the soul of a poet. She has, on many occasions, featured written words next to her work or embedded in her work. For the past 2 years, she has been part of an intimate poetry group where she has been honing skills and learning different perspectives, been writing weekly, been reading out monthly, and was published in the 42 Stories anthology. Everyone, give a hand to Samm Cohen!
I like it. Can we do this? Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So thank you for that introduction. Thank you, Pete. I've been here before, but not for you, so I'm very excited. So thank you. So make sure you're ready to hear some sad, pensive poetry. Get your drink out. Fool's Gold. 2:54 a.m., and I'm wrestling with the sheets, unable to quiet existential waters. So smooth in wet relief, diving off my chin as pods into pools unseen because simply all I have is words. To try to soothe this wounded, unwanted planet too cratered to care. All I have is phrases. To pounce off cliffed tongues under sunless sky into earless masses echo. All I have is poems. To clothe my showy bones with 1,000-page metaphors of feeling alone. To stuff into a file with my petty losses as I engulf this massive emptiness. Yellowing pages leak ink like tears, gushing in the glistening. These cleverly cried out lines of emotive labor splash saturated in the darkness. Too proud of their unseen conquest for things that could shine maybe if illuminated, shadowed in the ever pre-dawn obscurity. I mountain press squeeze syllables, so many hours of sparking moments that will never really be seen, paper route in vain. I lie, brown basking on the beach of simulated significance. For what?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I have a music show right now, which is a show with paintings and artwork, which isn't just mine. It's at BWAC. So come talk to me if you want. And we're actually going to have a showcase of music, and I've been thinking a lot about my relationship to music. I also, as previously mentioned, was in a punk band, which maybe somebody here has seen. I don't know. So yay. Archipelago's Cascade. Want to be a jukebox hero, like the song says. Want to rock my way to the top. The peak of what exactly? A hill of pebbles, a sea of hardened surfaces. I watch the struggle as stone climbers change and dangle my childhood dreams etching in a rock of ages in an avalanche. Words become cliche, maybe always were. I hear the song to my soul. I hear another song, too. I hear the song to my soul. I feel once innocence polishing off cliff walls. A shineless slate, still too slippery to hold a pleasing melody, has left me insufficient to scale, all bruised from falling, descending, groveling on gravel, and down below the ridge of minor key. The same old ground shaking. The young sashaying in layers of their own cool, dripping with smoke and pretense. Of course, a few ascend, not just made by meteoric effort, but that happenstance of magical timing and arrow-headed attitudes leaving flint instead of friends. Bitterness binds, the resentment reverberation as I wait too long to find some discoverer, to find a gemstone of worth here within, building walls now instead of mountains, fret unheard song stock a quarry, as stones shadowed by sunless days, eroded with unremarkable asphalt, or shaped square with concrete in roads for future climbers. Fossils remain buried and untouched. Sediment blows in my face. So please come ask me about the show later. Here's a poem I wrote after an argument I had with a good friend. Myopia. As we look out the only eyes we have available, can we just see that concoction of jagged cut conclusions in front of us? Calling out darker sides that stick like calluses covering softer skins. This unconscious cunning to ensure our survival at the center of our humanity as a cognitive blanket blanking out everyone else's concerns. Can we merely see our own mortal wounds, our soul circumstances? Must we limit our perception of others only to our pinched, suspicious view? That cruel condemnation cuts as confounding alliteration, with all of the curved, carved out feelings, felt like final days before our own apocalypse, crumbling, fear, anger, and resentment, frustration, isolation, preoccupation, sometimes empty and just simply too tired to care. Whether watching newsreels clinging or friendships fall apart. How can we expand to see how others feel when our own vessels are so overwhelmed and short-sighted? I think you expected that to be funny. I don't write so much funny. I should write funny, though. Yours was so funny. This poem is a poem I wrote like a year or two ago, and it was about Yom Shua, which is Holocaust remembrance, and I am just reminded of many things as sometimes it feels scary to even say that I'm Jewish, and there's really terrible things going on in the world all around. Yom HaShua. Spiderweb stuck to past that feels woven into our todays, troubled by a memory of what I've seen and shudder to experience, sickened by the sickness that's man-made by men. They funnel loathing virulent with blinded intent, and so many fall into hollows of secluded despair, broke records of barbaric cycles. As humans do, we grow less humane with each increment of power. And the experience of what we do, what we did, what we allow, what we fear. They hate, so we hate, so they hate. Left with only hate. Tragic acts of violence, unprecedented butchery leaves us unable to hold these grim thoughts from Dachau to downtown Manhattan. Leaders always claiming that they are doing what's best for society. Pick off the ones who stand out in the forge of cloned armies and follow like cattle herds for the farmer's consumption. We rip each other apart as wild lions with cunning and beyond hyena plans, or more often we let our head be swallowed with ostrich feathers till we can no longer remember why it started. So why do we think we're superior to creatures who can maintain their own harmony? Ours is about dividing us from them with clever amputations. And everybody has their clan. Sometimes we're venom-struck, and sometimes we're the serpent. We may fear they forget, so we continue to remind, and they say we remember too well. Or maybe it never happened. Or maybe it's another fable, a dutiful elaboration of biblical proportions. And we are the goats from the Haggadah being passed about. Bone chambers fill with more than just memories, smoke and ashes, and dust and gases, or struggling uncertain in the raven-colored tar pits of this life or the next. Can we help but feel the swell from the darkness, deep despair? Should we all sleep with one eye, scoping skeptical, building embellished bomb shelters for the eventual fallout? Hold worries to comfort as a familiar friend, wandering lost through this desert of emotion, and no one really has a map. So we hate, so they hate, so we hate. Thank you. I had actually just come back from going to Dachau, so it's a hard place to see. And I wrote this one after an NPR story about gender equality and the unequal license to fail. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up or listen to the poem. Allowable transgressions. Listening absent-minded to the humming telecast, streaming languages of lucidity spilling, playing the complex cacophony of our unthinking actions becomes the unequal license to fail. Is broadcast and jolting to my lazy spine and mind to wander and to wonder. Are some people socialized to be all right with not being right, and others too terrified to think what may happen? Empirical evidence exposed women warring with themselves on top of whatever else stirs the pot of their simmering success, never feeling enough. Most women smile supposedly content in the background, crooked grimace of forced compliance otherwise considered nagging or bitching whenever they show what they know, socialized to be lesser, though in public pledged only different, until neo-feminism presses proudly into the basest places protruding as though the ability to prattle profanely and shake that ass and then talk about it is what we were hoping for when we got sat in the backseat and told to be nice. Even the smallest adjectives add to the larger sentence when messages from childbirth on chided, without parents even recognizing as it's the way it's been done, and it doesn't really matter, and isn't she pretty just like that? Just like that, bit by bit. Each day, a little less, eyes absent-minded with the loss. I feel each word of this transmission transform thoughts, slowly airing undeniable clarity. The subtle surrender satiates recognition and leaves a haunting echo, reminding me of me. Thank you, everyone. By the way, I'm Samm, 2 M's, Cohen. Talk to me. Come talk to me. Look me up. The next stop is me. I think as I sit crouched awkward beside a couple cute cuddling and crowd stretch across this already oversaturated subway, subliminally introducing advertised products and poems to make me feel a certain way, that I can't differentiate my own voice from others anymore. As I sip my morning tea, listening too carefully to curated news, siding to whichever side is popular and outraged or can stir controversy or dollars, which may all be the same. As I listen to my stomach gurgle when flashy fast food passes for food with infused unpronounceable chemicals that make saliva glisten. As my lipstick smears me voracious red, the power it presents palpably temporary till we resort to every kind of cream and cover-up, needles or drugs to lift lowly feelings with the best is yet to come instead of death do us part. As movie trailers come and go, insinuating innuendo, and reality seems inefficient I think, to try to exit this train plowing prisons into my mind with calculated consistency. They are selling happiness. If we don't, or if we do, what they believe, which has lost its meaning 10 stations ago, in imagined playgrounds and million-dollar promises, yet my pockets are empty. I'm assuming that's about time, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Please come talk to me. I'm Samm Cohen, 2 M's. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everyone. This has been a lovely show.
Give it up for Samm Cohen, everybody.